All right, so we are back, and today I finally take a look at something I've been wanting to break down, like the flurry machine at McDonald's. Every time you seem to go, it just doesn't work. But one man that will work in his fight with Jake Paul coming up is Nate Diaz. He is the definition of work and work and work. He is like the Energizer Bunny with lots more scar tissue. He just keeps going. Say what you want about Nate Diaz, but he is an animal. He's a fighter's fighter, and he's taking on Jake Paul on August 5th. But all that stuff aside, is he a good boxer? And I don't mean in the conventional sense, because nothing about Nate Diaz is conventional, but I just mean, is he good enough to beat Jake? Breakdown. Let's go. All right, so this is the most recent footage of Nate Diaz that we can find. I'm going to show you this first because I've seen what people are saying on the internet. I've seen a little bit of skepticism around Nate's talent level. And let's be honest, I've said this. I think Jake Paul beats Nate for a variety of reasons. His age, the fact that he hasn't specifically dedicated his entire combat sports career to boxing, and we've already seen what happens when guys that are good strikers in the MMA scene come in to box Jake. They lose. All I'm saying is Nate might not operate the same way as a lot of technical strikers will, and, well, let's just see what I mean. Okay, so, well, that doesn't look very good, right? Just as a boxing analyst, which I don't even know that I am, watching this thing play out, watching Nate on the mitts doesn't look very crisp. It doesn't look very on balance. For God's sakes, it doesn't even look like he understands how to throw out of the southpaw position. But this is what makes Nate Nate. And I know that people are going to get on me and go, Wade, you're saying this when you said Joe Fournier wasn't a good fighter, and Nate, how can Nate be if he looks like this on the pads, but Joe at least looked like a boxer? Relax. The thing we always talk about is the mitts don't hit back, but there's other things in mitt work that don't necessarily show the full picture. Nate is never going to be the most technically crisp and gifted and has his stance and his guard is nice and tight and he's able to throw fast twitch responses and big-time counters over the top. He's a very lethargic. He doesn't play by the rules of a lot of fighting, and not in the same way as Ben Askren, who's doing the spinning back fists and the grabs and uppercuts underneath, which I got that one wrong too. But again, one of his biggest strengths is his ability to walk through punches, which is not necessarily a good thing. All I'm saying is it adds to what we see, because when we watch this footage, there's a lot that's wrong there, right? Nate is very heavy on his lead foot. Back foot comes off the ground. You can't really see it for the font here, but that push off the ground, the left hand will land. He landed it on the 170-pound champ in the UFC, and Leon Edwards almost went out cold. So he doesn't necessarily have to throw with the greatest form to get the shot there, but it does leave him susceptible to counter punches. It's pretty clear to see in that position. It takes him a long time to get back on that back foot. So he's very heavy on his lead. And even again, you see him throwing punches backward here. Boom, boom, boom. And that left hand comes out as he moves backward, which again, doesn't give him necessarily the best balance or power on that shot. But it does keep him out of range and lets him go again. But like I said, he's a bit awkward. Even when he throws his 1-2 here, it lands and it gets to the target, but it doesn't do anything fundamentally that you would ever teach a boxer to do. To the naked eye, this will look like a guy that's his first or second month actually boxing, because it doesn't look the most crisp. It doesn't look the most fundamental. But it works, and that's the thing. For Nate, this stuff works. And what I mean when I say this stuff works is there's maybe one guy that's outboxed Nate Diaz, and that was Conor McGregor in an MMA fight, right? Where you had to deal with other factors, and Conor actually leg kicking Nate was one of those other factors. But he doesn't get outboxed a ton, again, by MMA guys, I know, but also, and he had a spar a couple of years back with a boxer you may know, the WBC super lightweight champion of the world, Regis Prograis. Let's see how that went. Again, you see Nate very heavy on his lead foot. Very, very heavy. This is what got him in trouble a lot in MMA, especially, again, with leg kicks, and what may get him in trouble with counterpunches, which we know Jake is very, very skilled at pulling and throwing. Did it to Tommy over and over and over as Tommy was too aggressive coming forward. I don't like that about Nate, that he is so forward heavy, lean on his lead foot, but it does allow him to get off combinations, and he throws so many punches like you'll see here. Boom, boom. Stabbing jab, and the way he throws his left hand is so, you can't even teach it. Stabs the jab in, and then watch this left hand. It's like an overhand Stockton slap, the way he throws it, right? It's like he throws his boom, boom, and then it's like, right? And it's so odd to see, but again, it works. And his most effective shot, in my opinion, is his lead hand. It's his jab, because he throws his jab heavy. It's not boom like that. It's boom, boom. Like he's really winding that up to throw a nasty jab, you know? And it's again, not something you teach, but it's something Nate does, and it works. The work in the pocket there from Regis. And again, a nice 1-2, but again, the way Nate throws it, it leaves him off balance and it leaves him leaning. This is what you worry about. Nate will commit and overcommit to that shot to throw. Woo! That's a nice body hook. But he'll overcommit and stay on that front foot, which gets him caught in a lot of exchanges. But that's nice work. I like that again. Again, they're not really playing here. Like, Regis isn't just letting him work. It's a nice hook to the body. Regis comes back with one. But you see how Nate is off balance a lot. Woof! That right there is a massive indicator as to what the big problems are with Nate Diaz. If he is so front foot heavy and he commits so much to that lead hand and you can get underneath it, he's going to be there for the counter. You've seen it here, and we've seen it in Conor McGregor's fights. Boom, left hand. And again, southpaw guy, I get that. But we've also seen Nate get caught by that same shot from Conor McGregor. Look at Conor with his left hand. Boom, catch him in the in-between. Boom, left hand over the top. Nate will get caught. And again, him getting caught like that is just an amalgamation of him standing in range and wanting to throw, even if they are those slappy shots, just something to touch you with. So it does work out for him, again, if he can eat the shots and come back. But again, it's a little different. Boxing, he can't let that happen. And if he gets hit with one, he can't just fall to his back, try to work his jiu-jitsu game, get back to his feet, and use his cardio there. He's going to have to be switched on from the rip. And if Jake hurts him with one, boom, counter right hand over, Nate's going to have to not only take that shot, but find a way to come back from it. That's what worries you if you're a Nate Diaz fan, because he can take the shots all day, but will the shots accumulating allow him to get his volume off later in the fight? That we all know if he's around for that part later in the fight, he will start to ramp up pressure. But again, if he's hurt early and that volume is persistent from Jake and Nate can't get it going, this thing can turn into a tidal wave for Jake really quickly. Or if Nate can take the shots, it might just turn the tide back. All I'm saying to you guys is that Nate Diaz is not necessarily just a walking punching bag for Jake. That's all I'm saying to you here. Jake's seen MMA fighters throw wild punches. He's seen MMA fighters throw crisp punches and better technique. He's seen pro boxing now, fighting Tommy Fury with the best technique. He's had eyes on all of it, and still, no one replicates Nate Diaz. Is he an easy target to hit? Yes. Can Jake tee off and potentially knock Nate Diaz out? Absolutely, especially seeing how goddamn old Nate looked at that freaking press conference. But can Nate present problems? Can he get Jake into the later rounds and potentially turn back the clock one more time for 209? I think he can. Will it happen? I don't have those answers. But in Dallas, right in smack dab middle of the heart of the great state of Texas, guess we'll find out.